Hello, my name is Trevor, teaching about the dark night of the soul. Now, we've spoken about a lot of things concerning depression and what is the dark night of the soul. I've had a lot of mail from people that are going through what they call spirituality. Spirituality you have to be very careful with because it sets up an identity. And so therefore, what you're seeking is others' spirituality. What does it mean? What is on offer? What does it say to you? What really is spirituality? This is why I formulated and created Beamism, the Beamy philosophy, the teachings of body-mind energy. To understand spirituality, first we need to understand who you are and who you are not. For me, I realized that when I was going through the dark night of the soul, there was a separation between me and something, between me and the world, between me and something that I was communicating with. We believe spirituality is connecting in with something. For me, as Beamism, the Beamy philosophy, is about connecting with self. Self is who you are looking for. If you're looking for messages and looking for answers from outside of yourself, you form a separation. And this is where you can get confused. And this is where it becomes a little bit painful because you're waiting for something. So what you're waiting for is that you are waiting for yourself. When I became a medium, it was great. It was amazing to be able to tune into the spirit world and receive messages. But then something was happening. It was what mind was mine, and how could a spirit get into my mind to give me messages? Something didn't add up. Something just didn't make sense. How was that possible? How did that happen? That left me a little bit confused. So for people that are asking for angels, 1, have you seen one? This is the truth of. If you have seen one or understood one, then work with that energy. But if you're just reading something that you believe to be true, that these do exist, then you may be off track. I tried to believe in a lot of things that was already said, something that someone else had done. So therefore, it sets the goalpost. You feel like you're missing something. For me, after going through all the spirituality and going through all the healing, going through Reiki, mediumship, clairvoyance, clairaudient, clairsentient, discovering what was my gift. One of the things that I realized is that you can go learn that stuff. You can learn it on the internet. But is it yours? Or are you learning it from someone else? I believe everyone's got a gift. I believe everyone came here with a gift. Whether that gift is just about recognizing self and the separation that we've got on the planet. I mean, when you look at the word separation, your body and your mind and your emotions, the Trinity in Beamism, you're separated. Your mind and emotions are having an argument, and so therefore the body is the injury that is caused by the argument that's going off between your mind and your emotions. So you ask for God, or you ask for the angels, send you a sign, send me some help, and you wait, and you feel like you're not getting an answer. When does it show? How does it show? There are many, many different ways. The shortcut here is start to get into the self. Forget what anyone else has said. Forget about what has been written. Forget about what any of it means. You're here to find your truth, because if I'd followed Buddhism, I would have become a Buddhist. If I followed Reiki, I would have become a Reiki master. In actual fact, I did become a Reiki master. But once I'd learnt all that stuff, it still didn't make me feel complete. There was something there that was missing from within me. Something didn't make sense. I knew there was a certain feeling, and I knew there was a certain way of being. And I knew there was a gift in healing. But the amazing fact in this is, once you understand the Beamy, it's all natural. It doesn't have to be this hard to get thing. And if you really do want to connect in with the spirit of divinity, then it's working with self first. Once you are healed, see, you become a channel, an empty vessel. Why? Because it allows the pure energy to come in without your mind distorting the answer. When we do mediumship, we get images in our mind. You may hear a voice, you may even see somebody speaking to you, but it's your interpretation of what is being said. And because they show it in signs and symbols, you have to interpret these symbols, and therefore you pick up on the story. And a lot with mediumship is about the way that you're feeling this energy. So therefore, if somebody passed over and they left with resentment or anger or a feeling that they didn't feel complete in this lifetime, you will pick that up as a medium and you will be affected by that. And so therefore, you can walk around and sense a feeling that is not right within you. And so therefore, you think, what's the matter with me today? I don't feel good, I don't feel well, something feels wrong, I don't know why, nothing's changed. I should be the same, I'm doing alright. I was feeling alright yesterday, today I'm not. When spirit comes in close, because you've put the call out, can you imagine all them desperate spirits waiting to meet somebody that may be able to listen to them, to hear them, to be able to give over a message for them? I had a lot of difficulty with that. And I did it for so long on TV, but in the end I had to stop because I was losing my mind. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what mind was whose, what spirit or mind was telling me to go here or go there. So therefore it seemed like that there was darkness there in that communication. But I realized one of the most important things was, if you're going to deal with spirit and you want to connect with spirit, you've got to connect in with your own spirit. First and foremost, seek ye the kingdom of God within you first. Now this has been spoken of many times, and the truth for me comes in one sentence, i.e., know thyself. What does know thyself mean? Heal the blind, 3 words. Heal the deaf, 3 words. Raise the dead, 3 words. Be me, 3 letters, 3 words, body, mind, energy. Finding the energy of. For me, that was the Trinity. So it wasn't the Son and the Father and the Holy Ghost. It was about me, being me. I came here on the planet because I had something to say. I had something to express, something to show to the world. I wasn't sure what that was, but when you bring it back down to the root of who you are, naturally, it's you. We came onto this planet and we just fitted in. We never thought for 1 minute about something was wrong. And even though you all feel it, you know that there is something wrong, but you think there is something wrong with you. That's where you're taking it personally. Every relationship that you've been through. Of course, we can start some things. We can have bad times in relationships. But what do they actually mean? There has to be reason and a meaning and a purpose behind a relationship. Because if there isn't, then what was the point of even having a relationship? They're there for some reason. In the beginning, for me, there was just a relationship. And then they become a soulful relationship. Then they became a messenger. And then there was a form of divinity. And the divine side of it means they were sent. Because out of 8 billion people that you could have met, you only met a certain 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. That's how important they are. But we don't see the importance. Until you can understand the importance of everything that has happened. And because you think it's happened to you, how about it's happened for you? For you to feel what life feels like. You feel the pains. You go through certain experiences. And for everyone that is in the dark night, that means you've experienced quite a lot of life. You've taken the emotional side. You've taken the mentality of it all. And you've looked at life and thought, there's nothing left. I've experienced this. I've experienced that. I've done all the things I thought I could do or become, but something is still missing, and it's self. To be divine in itself, even if you took out the word of divinity, divine, there's still biblical words in one sense, but we use them in whatever way, because when you do understand the self, when you start loving the self and you've done some healing on yourself, there is a feeling, I must admit, you have to put the word of divine, because you actually do feel divine, which means it's the opposite end to how you used to feel, which was not divine. Basically, just human and in pain, lost and confused. We hear the great words, Christ energy, Christ consciousness. I went through this. I call it ICB me, in Christ, body, mind, energy. You do get to this point, because what is happening is that within you, when you're in the dark night, your energy is very low. You're vibrating at a very low speed. This is why you have no energy. But inside, I call it the beamy lot, the body, mind, energy, ladder of truth. Trying to find the truth of yourself through understanding the mind, understanding your emotions, understanding the journey, and then realizing at that moment, you look at yourself and you think, why am I destroying myself? Why do I not like myself? Now, there's many aspects to that. It may be the way you've been taught. It may be you as a being that have tried to control others, and now you're at a point where you can't control yourself. So when you go from being a human being, and you hear that moment when they say, one moment he was human, and in the next moment he was divine. This happens. It happened to me. Divinity and Christ consciousness is the opposite end to who you used to be. So in your human life, you was doing what you normally do, just fitted in. Then you go into depression, and so therefore you don't fit in, but you're seeking and you're searching for a way out. You have to go through into the healing process, which means you're having to go backwards in your journey. You're having to go back to the bare bones, and you're having to go back to the beginning, because once you get back to the beginning and you realize that you've been carrying a lot of pain, and the reason why you've been carrying pain is because you didn't understand the story. Once we start to understand the story, and we know that it's all been divinely led, which means it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. It happened so that you could get to question yourself in life. Question everything and find the answers within yourself. Just because someone else has wrote a good book, just because they say Jesus was the Son of God, forget that. Find your book. Find your own personal Jesus within you. Find your own level of Christ consciousness. And the way that we do that is you work out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Concentrate on your thoughts and see how you are speaking with yourself. This will determine if you're still human or you're divinely led. It's a total different level of communication. It's a language, and this language is in energy. You feel the energy within you, and it's a healing energy. Everyone seeks happiness, but it isn't really. You're all seeking healing. Healers at the moment are your best asset to try and find. Find a good healer, and a good healer is somebody that knows the process of life, understood it from beginning to the end, from the birthing process to the dying process, and all the stories in between. And it's not until you break away from that story you start to build your own story, how you want to feel. The scariest thing is this: you're scared of freedom. Everyone is scared of freedom, and the reason being is that you don't actually know what to do with it once you gained freedom. If you've been in a bad relationship for 20 years and you come out of that because deep down you wanted to, you may find yourself wanting to go back into that relationship because you don't know what to do with your freedom. There is an emptiness in freedom. It's like walking into a house. There is no furniture. There is nothing. And there's an echo in the room. There may even be some dampness, a cold air, because the room has not been filled. That's the dark night. You walk into that room and it's scary, but you stop for the moment. How would you fill that room? What furniture would you like it to be filled with? Because this will be the first time where you have got no one to ask if that sofa looks good or that kitchen is great. Shall we have that bed? What do you think of the colour scheme? It's entirely down to you now. And you know, that's so scary for a lot of people, and it was for me, because I thought to myself, what do I want? How do I want to paint this house? What furniture do I want? It's all the responsibility of yours. If you don't want nothing in that room, then have nothing. It doesn't matter. For me, I kept everything basic, to the bare minimum. What did I actually need to survive in life? I didn't need all that stuff. All I needed was me. And this is why the be me is so important, and it's such a powerful asset. It is one of the most powerfulest things I have ever discovered once you understand the truth of who you are. And once you can speak to yourself with intelligence, and you know how to heal yourself, then you'll know everybody. And it's true. And you will unfold a mystery, because the mystery has been, you don't know who you are. You don't know what your journey's been all about. In the dark night of the soul, though, it's showing you. And all these fears that it shows you, they are the fears that are within you. And it's working on them fears. And then one day, there can be a moment when you stop and you realize that all of that is happening within you. Nobody's knocking on your door. Nobody's sending letters to you. God isn't standing in your front room and fearing you to death. All within, you're fearing yourself into change. You're fearing yourself into the future. What are we going to do? Realize it? Recognize it. To realize, real eyes. REALEYES. Real eyes. See yourself with real eyes. See life with real eyes. What do I mean by that? It means not with an emotion. We've all been led to look at life with emotions, emotional values. You are an emotional being. To be cleared, to be cleansed, to be empty is to be able to see life for the very first time with freedom. That's how you awaken. You see life in a completely different way, because at the moment you're seeing it with fear. So teach yourself to understand it with enlightenment, understand it with love, understand it with compassion, which means look at life and everything, but hold the feeling and the thought form of compassion. Everyone you see, everyone you meet, everyone you talk with, every plant, every tree, every thunderstorm, everything. Look at it with compassion. And so therefore, you will connect to the planet and people in a completely different way. It takes practice to become the butterfly. It takes practice. The reason why I say that is because it's taken you 40 years to practice being a human being. So if you've got 40 years left of your life, why not start practicing being the being that you want to become, or be, or do? Create the new within you. You may say it can't be done. It can be done. I never thought for one moment I would ever change as a being. I felt like I was set, just like our life has been set before us. But nobody says to you, transform, become a different being. And you look at that and you think, it's impossible. I'm built. You cannot teach an old dog new tricks, but you can. We're not a dog. We are human beings, or so-called human beings, but we are beamy beings. And beamy beings are transformation artists. We can change our mind, we can change the way we think about ourselves, and so therefore we can change who we are in the present moment, and we can change who we are in the future to come. A beamy being who is awake sees itself for the first time. And after a while, I see life like this, and I say to myself on a regular basis, I'm going to miss being me, because it's been an incredible journey being me. I didn't see it at first, but now I do see it. I see the levels of courage. I see the levels of love. I see the levels of trust that I've had to believe in myself, even though no one else did. Inside of me was a drive, and that drive is the spirit. The spirit of who you are is the drive. So, for the next couple of months, don't ask for spirit. Don't ask for God. Don't ask for the angels. I want you to concentrate more on life, and I want you to concentrate more on yourself only. Because if you form a separation between you and something, then you will lose yourself, and you will never gain yourself back. It's like in a relationship. You're relying on somebody else. You see a woman, you see a man, change their identity. You see a beamy being, and that beamy being is going through exactly what you've been through, or what you're going through. What's different? Take away their identities, and the whole game of life changes. Become mindfully empty? That means get rid of the programming. Become mindfully enlightened means fill yourself up with the language, the words, the love, the respect on how you want to feel and how you want to act in life. From there on in, you can move forward as a beamy being. It's a practice, as I said, but stay away from asking the angels anything. You're going to drive yourself crazy, as I did, and I lost myself, and I'd fallen apart because I was relying on somebody else to guide me. And then that moment came when I thought, Trevor, you got to do this on your own, mate. Only you know you. Talk to yourself. Communicate with yourself. Find the spirit. Find your energy. Understand your emotions. Rewrite the past. Learn from the past. And look at life and think, if I've created all of that in the past, what could I create for the future? And most importantly, it's not about you. It's what you can offer. It's what you can give. It's what you can do that makes the world a better place. Because if you can make yourself the better place, then the whole place becomes a better place. That's the art of divinity. That's all that's asked of you. Change yourself, and the rest becomes easy. I'll speak to you soon.